Okay, testing. Everyone test their mics.
Check.
Test.
Check.
Testing.
Should be good for the show. And then I'll cue him some music while we wait for people. Is there a specific song you want to play? I have the whole album here. Jenny?
Let's go from top to bottom.
Okay. Is this too loud for you? I actually don't know. If you're watching right now, can you tell us if you can hear the music?
My hand.
Jenny, your internet is terrible. Can't hear music. Okay, so Jenny, for you, music is too loud, but for others, they can't hear it. I'm gonna tune it up a little bit, okay? Carney, I think I have to get, a lot of people couldn't be here today. Because of the travels, Cobble and Kevin send their regards. I can't find Searchy at all. Jack, you want to test your mic?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
It feels like I haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Are we live right now or not yet?
Yeah, we're in theory live, but we're just kind of waiting for Carney.
Got it. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Jack.
What is up?
Jack, have you played with Notebook LM?
I have not played with Notebook LM.
I'm gonna send you some stuff after this call.
Sick. Yeah, I know you. It looked like you were doing some cool stuff, so I'm definitely eager to check it out. I've really only done like minimal things with a lot of the AI tooling. It's on my list of things for next year to get more into now that they're kind of quite powerful.
All right. Well, let's get started. I don't know where Corey went. Probably busy, but like I mentioned earlier, some people are traveling, so most people are. This is kind of like a weird setup because I've invited some people who were part of the roundtable that Jack and I did last year, away from THJ at the time. And this year, what we have is something very interesting, which is that about 3 years ago, I believe THJ was born as an idea. And I also at the same time wanted to do some form of like video background, which is pretty chaotic. I sent this idea to someone and I was like, why don't we play some fireplace DVD shit in the background? And they're like, yeah, but what about people in the southern hemisphere? And I said, okay, what about I put half the screen as the fireplace and then half the screen as like some beach wavy things? And yeah, it was a stupid idea. So I asked Gumi to come stream her drawing today. But yeah, welcome everyone. I think what we will do first is to have Jani lead a conversation around third birthday of THJ. As I heard it, he was high, and he had some form of fever dream, and yeah, that's how THJ was born.
Facts. Yeah, it's been a trip the last 3 years, building with all of you folks. I kind of think when you are building pre-chain existing. Hey, I don't know if it's just me, Eileen, but the music's like now hella loud.
Oh, yeah, it's just you. I'm gonna pause it.
Yeah, so it's the building in a pre TGE environment versus post has been a trip. So I don't know. With I think the history and lore of THJ is pretty well documented out there by this point. So I think we can just kind of jump straight into uh, Bera in the current paradigm, I guess. An interesting, I don't know, Eileen, where you want to go, but um, Kodiak's kicking off tomorrow. So kind of they've been building, I don't know, how long have you been building for, Beartic? Because you've kind of navigated this kind of pre-Bera TGE, pre KDK TGE. Now you're kind of on the eve of the threshold of uh, things existing. So yeah, I'm interested to dive in on that side of things. But Eileen, does that line up with what you were thinking?
Yes, that's precisely why we have Beartic here. Beartic?
Oh, yep. Yeah, so started building Kodiak like almost 3 years ago, probably like between 2.5 to 3 years ago. We've uh, we initially like just me and my other co-founders were very interested in Bearchain. Didn't really know anyone at Bearchain, but we saw THJ was growing. There was like Goldilocks, Beardrum, a bunch of people talking about it. And honestly, like all three of us, the only resources we had was the THC, some of the podcasts, as well as some random articles from these random VCs about how PL initially worked. So we just had some ideas that we wanted to build for fun. But then we kind of finally got introduced to the rest of the Bearchain team, and as well as Jani, and then we kind of learned where PL was headed towards. So that kind of completely changed what we wanted to build, and we fortunately got accepted into the Build-A-Bear Accelerator, and yeah, been a long journey since, and super excited to be on this, I guess, stream again. It's been exactly a year.
It has been. Do you want to share some of the more recent stuff, especially stuff that has to do with tomorrow?
Yeah. So Kodiak, the Kodiak TGE is tomorrow. So it's at 2 p.m. UTC. We'll be live and tradable on Gate, the Gate exchange, as well as Kodiak, the like the Dex, our Kodiak spot Dex itself. And last couple of days, like roughly 5 days ago, Gate hosted the Kodiak's IEO, initial exchange offering, where 3% of the supply was offered to the public, and that went exceedingly well. Like close to $150 million in commitments for just like roughly $1 million allocation. Yeah, went exceedingly well, especially in this current market. And yeah, it's not like just because we're launching token doesn't mean we're done. We got a lot more stuff to build, and yeah, we could dive into those kind of things later on.
Okay. Carney, do you want to say hi?
Hello.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
It's the holidays. My mind's in fully like turned off mode, so I'm not gonna sound extremely intelligent or anything.
I mean, okay, so when I talked to you guys about this, right? And you kind of was like, well, on-chain finance, like what else more can we talk about? So do you want to talk about more of the recent stuff?
Um, I mean, yeah, like broadly, right? Like over the past few months, the thing that I've seen the most people get excited about is trading perpetuals with stocks or perpetuals with like pre-IPO company shares or things of that nature. And I don't know. It's on one hand, it's exciting because it's like a a new derivative and like, KYC-less access to those things. So like, yay. But on the other hand, it's like a rehash of the TradFi markets that has been around for a couple hundred years. Um, I don't know. I kind of don't have very strong feelings about it, other than like, yay, people will probably use these things. They're probably useful, but are they like a huge breakthrough type of thing, like only possible on DeFi rails? Like, I tend to think not.
It's like we've seen this thing a lot, and I guess I'd say part of the meta of this cycle is to figure out the meta. And I'd say like the last one was you seeing perp texts listing each other. So that was kind of like, okay, so maybe we've hit a top or something. What do you feel about like the cycle overall?
Oh yeah, maybe one note on like the perp deck stuff, real quick. It's like the funny thing recently, right? It's like hype price is going down and all the .hls are depressed, and it's like, welcome to what it's like in Beartic chain. Like the thing to note there, right? Is like Hyperliquid doesn't work any better or worse, just due to the price of hype itself, right? Maybe there are some like eco-related things where like anyone who's been accumulating hype in their treasury or has hype to spend, like yes, that gets affected by price, but almost nothing about like their chain or exchange like has any meaningful difference, because I don't know, price go up or price go down. It's all like in people's heads. Yeah, and I think that's funny in a way, right? It's like in one sense, like the hard technical fundamentals have nothing to do with price, but based on how people talk, it's like essentially all the social fundamentals are completely price linked.
That's one thing I actually really learned this cycle. Like, I used to think for the longest time that there's a narrative and then price action follows, but now I know for certain that it's like actually the reverse. Like, yeah. All right. Let's get into some more of the builder stuff. What I really want to know, sort of correlated to what we were just talking about, is certain theses or validations that has happened with you all in the past couple of years, but in this cycle, it's been like completely dismantled. Jack?
Yeah. It's funny. So I came from traditional finance originally. And, when I got into crypto originally, one of my friends that kind of brought me back into it, when I hadn't really looked at anything since kind of like Bitcoin in maybe 2013 or 2014, it was through this lens of DeFi. And, my initial gut check when I was looking at everything was I was like, oh, everything's a scam. And the stuff I was really interested in was like stablecoins and tokenization and perps and like a lot of these kind of financial instruments that really it felt like had some kind of meaningful differentiation and interesting products, and 24-hour settlements and speed of execution and global volumes 24 hours a day, right? Like these were things that at the time, for what I knew well, made a lot of sense to me. And the more I got into the space, the more I started to get really into the economic gamesmanship and app building and tokenomics and fund yield Ponzi's and all these other things, which I don't regret it at the time. I don't regret it. It was like one of the most fun periods of my life, was getting involved in all these different things and kind of digging around under the hood and seeing how things actually worked. And one of the things I felt at the time, in a lot of the different experiments that we saw going on, is there's no reason that we should look at a product that has failed a bunch of times before in terms of like the actual economics of it don't work, and then by putting it on a blockchain, it suddenly magically works. And that's certainly been true, although we've seen a bunch of different attempts to do so. And I think what has kind of been interesting over the last year and a half is I think a lot of the like techno optimism is maybe what you'll call it, or a lot of the I don't want to say like the cypherpunk values have been kind of like washed out of me a little bit, but like I would say, I don't know, like the elements of it that outside of like trustlessness and ability to control your own funds. I think like a lot of the other ancillary stuff around, um, let's say like maximal decentralization, or speculation around like novel products and other things like that. I think a lot of that surface area for me, outside of a lot of the core stuff that's been built, think like AMMs, money markets, and some sort of variation on structured financial products, like plus stable coins and settlement engines, right? Like that for me, coalescing to this stuff, that has kind of coalesced into the stuff that it feels like really matters. And a lot of the other things ends up just being ways to kind of like bootstrap experimentation within those venues. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I've now spent like 6 years into the space to basically come full circle to where I was when I started, albeit perhaps like with hopefully a little bit more knowledge around the edges. And 3 or 4 years ago, especially, it felt like oftentimes complexity was a feature, right? Having weird tokenomic design for incentive alignment or any of these other things. Whereas now, like, I think my point of view and my stance on a lot of these things is like maximize simplicity, and create incentive alignment too. Like I think some of the Aave stuff and the Uniswap stuff on the token side that's been going on is really interesting. I think the regulatory environment in the US like continues to trend towards, and speaking as a burger, like continues to trend towards being able to do away with the separation of like equity and token. And in that universe, I think simple clean products with simple clean token designs that generate revenue, whether or not that revenue flows back to the token directly, is kind of most interesting. And if we want to have more discussions on like how to flow back revenue and things like that later, we can. But yeah, I think like super high level, it's been definitely like an interesting kind of like full circle learning journey for me. And I think a lot of it is in part regulatory shifts and stuff like that. But I think a big part of it too is going through that early cycle of like experimentation and extreme optimism, and then kind of coming back down a little bit towards reality and towards like a lot of those original use cases that folks did start building for off the bat, which is basically like enabling anyone anywhere at any time to have access to financial resources, right? Which is like what always excited me.
What do you think about like the tokenomics end? Because if we go down the route of simplicity, in theory, it's like you don't launch a token and then you have one less thing to worry about. And I guess like nowadays with stablecoins, you can do a lot of things, and with different crypto rails, you can do a lot of things without having a token. But I'd say like in the cycle, kind of everybody has been doing just, it's like the same playbook, buy back and burn.
Yeah. Look, like, so I think there's a lot in there kind of implicitly, but for me, like the first thing I kind of note here is that tokenomics doesn't strictly just mean like the governance token, if that makes sense. Like when I think about tokenomics, and this is something we tried to do with when I originally designed the sync, and Carney and a bunch of others at Polygon carried it forward into what's now known as Katana. The idea was like basically using implicit value of certain assets to create network effects, right? And for me, that falls into this category of tokenomics, regardless of whether or not it's about a native governance token. That's like the kind of the first thing I'd mention. The second thing I think about too is like when you compare it to traditional markets, the big benefit of a token is that it's much easier to launch, and you can get broader distribution without necessarily having regulatory overhead. And so it's effectively like liquidity is available earlier. The downsides of the token, part of them are unique to crypto specifically, and part of them aren't. The part that isn't is like, there's a reason why companies and founders are increasingly choosing to stay private for longer and longer periods of time, e.g. like pre-TGE. It's because like it allows you to build a business without having a bunch of different stakeholders in the room that may or may not have the best long-term interests of the company at heart. And this is something I feel like a lot of folks in the space have really struggled with over recent years, is like that functionality of achieving secondary market liquidity very early is oftentimes really at odds with a fundamental desire to grow a long-term business. And generally, people that are looking for early secondary market liquidity are not the same people that are fundamentally aligned in growing a business, right? That's not universally true, but I would say it's often true. And it's probably something that everyone in this room has experienced in some capacity over the last few years, if not prior, right? And so I think like there's like this really delicate balance of like delaying TGE or like delaying your secondary market liquidity event with trying to create like a fundamental business, and also like not pissing off your user base, who, and this is kind of a more crypto specific downside, is like there's like a very real sense, I think, of entitlement. And this is one of the things that I look back on for like RTG, and I'm like, we probably should have done things differently here. Almost certainly should have done things differently here. There's like a very real sense of entitlement around users of a product or a community and being large participants in the upside of that, which started off as like a ragarb thing, right, with airdrops to achieve sufficient decentralization on launch, and has kind of worked its way into being like a core part of the space, but without really having that same like ragarb necessity at this point. And in doing so, I think creates definitely like another tough situation for a lot of teams, right? It's like, given that kind of like catch-22 of secondary market liquidity and long-term alignment, you now compound that into like with a sense of like entitlement on distribution that will oftentimes leave people frustrated almost regardless of what the outcome is. And then compound that with the fact that a lot of these folks are simply looking for secondary market liquidity rather than being aligned with the project. You're kind of like setting yourself up for failure in a lot of ways, unless things go like really well and there's a fantastic core product with upside potential that has long-term growth, right? And so that's one of the things I admire about Kodiak, is like you guys have built a good business and are debuting at like a reasonable valuation with actual core revenue drivers. I think it's one of the things that like worked really well for Hyperliquid, right? Is like they ended up debuting at a valuation that made sense. And then thinking about like buy and burn or whatever it is as a model, like I don't think that at the end of the day, like it matters a lot. And I think there's even arguments to be made, and people have made them, about whether buy and burn is actually like the best way for a growth stage startup to use capital. And like I won't really touch on that because I think those have been rehashed to death. But I think like two of the interesting things to consider is like, one, what are the alternatives, right? And I think like a lot of the alternatives are really bad. If you look at like an old school GMX style model, which is basically like issuing dividends rather than doing buy and burn, you have a lot of value passed through to token holders, which is good. But then at the same time, if for whatever reason your top line growth starts to fade off because perp dexes are cyclical, or there's better products in the market or whatever else, then you're kind of left in a situation where like a lot of value has been captured by the effective equity holders, but there's nothing to really sustain another leg of growth because your emissions are done, the value has been distributed, the people are happy to move on, having gotten out of it what they wanted to get out of it. And then we're, I think, starting to see some of the issues with like programmatic buy and burn, even setting aside like that question of long-term growth and like if money could be better spent elsewhere, which is that programmatic buy and burn is kind of like intensely cyclical in that it's better than dividends because at the end of the distribution, there is actually some value that has been, offset by the core protocol in the form of like removing tokens from supply. But at the same time, if your top line revenue is growing, right, like to your point earlier of like narratives versus token price, right, like generally speaking, what we see is that like token price tends to lead the kind of like core fundamentals in some capacity, right? And so what ends up happening is like hype volumes grow, even though the token price isn't necessarily correlated to the business. Like people see that happening, they sense a trend, the token gets bid up, volumes are growing, revenues grow, awesome. You're buying the token at a very high valuation. And then when things cool off for whatever reason, whether it's like competition from all perp dexes or just like cyclical market stuff, right? Then you can end up in a position where you could have had better execution, right, by being more patient. And so I think now for the first time, the average purchase price of hype from the AF is actually lower than the current, or is higher than the current price of hype, right? And so there's then like this interesting second order question, which again kind of becomes like this regard thing of what about like non-programmatic buy and burn, right? Where you have like this threat of cash that is exclusively earmarked to buy the token. And then the market notices that and kind of like prices the token as if the purchases had already happened, knowing that that support is able to come in without it actually having to get deployed at higher prices. This is something I kind of think of as like the Warren Buffett special. And it's, I think, like kind of a more interesting way of doing things, albeit one with like more overhead for a handful of different reasons. But yeah, anyway, it's probably enough rambling for me.
You know how I've been just talking to you and Carney about like taking businesses on chain, like in the format of IPO and DPO? If you were to think about how it can be done outside of share rev, I guess, and dividends, how can, like, let's just fantasize about this for a moment. How can it be done? How would like a I don't know, pet store that wants to IPO on chain and receive finance and stuff like that, how would they do it differently from like all the other existing crypto businesses for tokens?
I mean, like the honest answer is I don't think they do, right? Like like they just don't, right? Like like at least me personally, but I would guess like 95% of the people, if not higher in the space, aren't like walking around looking at like local mom and pop pet store and being like, damn, I really wish I had equity upside in that business, right?
Yeah.
Like the majority of people on and off chain, if you're in an environment where like if you look at like the S&P over the last 5 years, or you look at NASDAQ over the last 5 years, especially the last like 2 years, it's up and to the right in a straight line, right? And you're very rarely going to get those returns in a smaller business just because the growth there is different. And like a lot of these indices and a lot of these markets get driven by the extreme outliers that drag the average up, right? It's like the top 5 stocks tend to return like the vast majority of the returns for the index as a whole. And so if you're playing for equity upside, I would argue that like you're better off buying some combination of like hyper speculative equity in like a crypto company or in a private company, or better off buying just like generic stocks, and you'll probably end up getting more upside with significantly less downside risk. And so like I don't actually think the equity model is sensible for these sorts of things. Where I do think there's interesting upside is specifically in like things like private credit, right? And that's, I think, more towards what folks like McKinsey and Valinor and some of these other folks are trying to do that's more interesting, right? Which is basically structuring things as like credit facilities with debt tranches, and then being able to participate in upside on revenues, not based off of like revenue stream to an equity token, but rather as like a senior debt facility to a good business, right? And that's failed in the past in the space because they're generally speaking not getting access to like high quality debt, and you just end up taking on a bunch of risk, both through your counterparty on chain and your counterparty off chain, for what ends up being effectively subpar risk adjusted rates. And so I think one of the biggest and most interesting spaces for me personally within crypto is like, now that a lot of the stuff is legitimized, and now that like a lot of stablecoin infra is better, and now that there are better mediums for raising capital and better legitimacy for deploying that capital, like who are going to be some of the first people that really meaningfully move in that direction and like actually give folks access not to just like whatever tokenized BlackRock private credit fund, but are really like using crypto rails as a source for taking in capital and distributing it directly into folks looking to raise debt off chain. And that for me is like significantly more interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna be kind of an ass here. So if that's the case, right, and it's only maybe limited to stuff like private credit, then what are we doing with like the direction of Bearchain in terms of the businesses that we bring on? It's like, for example, the liquid royalty stuff you guys were talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely been changes in how we think about it for exactly that reason, right? Like in many ways, like the liquid royalty stuff is actually like a really close reflection of a lot of the things that I talked about. I would say McKinsey is kind of similar to a lot of the things I talked about. Sukuk and like some of those types of folks are similar to what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying it has to be like exactly this model that I just described, right? But I actually think that rather than being an ass, like you've actually kind of like helped make this point that those sorts of applications are like a lot of the things that we're actually more interested in right now, and like some of the things that we've been spending time on. And then that it isn't to say like Kodiak, et cetera, aren't just as relevant, right? Like you still need all of the underlying financial infrastructure and kind of DeFi primitives under the hood to make this stuff work. It's just a question of like, how are you actually planning to create yield on the chain? Is it just like through closed circle looping, or is it through deploying capital in a way that can scale much more efficiently? And then two, like how do you think about using those to kind of like drive adoption and like create some interesting network effects? And I think those are questions we like spent a lot of time on over the last 6 months.
And so the existing sort of businesses I'm seeing is kind of like stuff that really isn't commonly seen in crypto, versus maybe like a Web 2 type of thing. Was there a specific reason why certain things happened first and certain things didn't happen just yet, or not announced?
I'm not really even sure what that question means, to be honest.
Like,
it feels like so vague and hand wavy that I can't possibly answer it accurately. But like the answer is just like some things move faster than others a lot of the time, right? Like I would say generally speaking, with anything related to like Bearchain and POL in that respect, like we want to be more thoughtful and more kind of tactical in terms of how we roll stuff out, right? Like it's not going to be something that just gets like fired blindly into the governance forum at this point, right? Like it will obviously eventually make its way there, but I think a big focus for us before that is spending a lot of time first internally discussing different strategies and figuring out like what does the future for things and the products actually look like? What are the end goals that we're trying to achieve? Who are the different user bases from an application and end user demographic that we're trying to service? And then really asking ourselves with a high degree of honesty whether like the solutions that we're proposing actually move the needle for those kind of folks or not. And then from there, kind of going into more focused sessions with specific teams that we think represent good case studies, both among kind of the classic native teams as well as some of the other folks that are more of this like Web 2.5 universe, and then going through and ideating from there. And then only at that point will I think things start to have kind of public visibility, because I think at this point the onus is on us to come out with something thoughtful and not just like expect the community to take something half-baked and like turn it into something magical, right? I think at this point, like it's very much so on us to do a lot of the legwork and hopefully then get buy-in for a product that is more thoughtful and more fleshed out, more viable.
So reading sort of like the sentiment, right? And I haven't been reading that for like a month because we've been banned for a month, almost a month. But I have seen some comments about like why this direction, it doesn't make sense. What would you share with people about why revenue is important?
Yeah, look, like I don't even think there's like a discussion worth having here, to be honest. Like
Okay.
if you can't understand why revenue is important, then we're probably not aligned in terms of like why businesses should exist, and just call it there. But yeah, I mean, look, like at the end of the day, you have to build products for folks that will be around in multiple years, and I think the reality is that, like, given I think a lot of the things I've talked about earlier today, the end goal is to find a way to utilize a product to create real value for businesses, right? Like that's always been what Bearchain was about at its core. I think in a lot of ways, if we had been back in like the DeFi experimentation era of like 21, 22, I think POL actually would have had like a very different reception and like end result from the markets. And much in the same way that Olympus used their bonding mechanism to end up at something that much more resembles like a real product in business at the end, and especially now today. I think that there was for sure back then design space to utilize these sorts of mechanisms to get to something that actually has some level of like PMF. And I think that like that remains true. It just is kind of more difficult without some of the initial network effects and like capital, but at the same time, like that mission hasn't changed. And so the goal is to figure out like how we can improve on proof of liquidity to help applications drive revenue, and how we can improve how POL captures a portion of that revenue from applications in a way that is more thoughtful and creates more upside for both sides.
Okay. Carney, do you want to add some things specific to the liquid royalty? Or actually maybe explain to people what it is first?
Yeah, so for context, there is a very cool project that recently launched on Bearchain. It's called Liquid Royalty. And what the team managed to do, first on the technical side, is that they have a TEE system that basically allows you to escrow any of your web accounts. So, like, if you apply this to Amazon, essentially a merchant can tokenize their login information of that account, and basically allows whoever controls the login to also control the handle the payouts that Amazon gives back to the merchants. So it's a really cool way that you can tokenize essentially cash flow that's coming in from like these Web2 platforms. And yeah, their very first product is tokenizing essentially a share of e-merchant on Amazon that is selling a bunch of various home appliances. Like in a way, it's funny. They sell like furniture. They sell like walkers and strollers. They sell cooktops for stoves, like a collection of random things. But they're very ubiquitous, and they've been selling a lot of them. I don't know if we can drop a link in here. Maybe I'll do that in a bit after I'm done talking. But you can actually see every time somebody makes a purchase for any of these products, and you can also see how much of the sales goes back to holders of the tokenized shares. And yeah, what's really cool about this is that the first merchant that they found here is someone that has a very strong track record over the years. They're essentially like a very well run small business, but typically like e-merchants don't scale big enough to ever, go public or something like that, right? But they would still benefit if they're able to use some of their equity in their own business to raise some cash and use that to grow or to pay for various things. So it's kind of like the really perfect fit. Like that's something where if you put on the blockchain, like it's basically like the right scale. Like we're able to find folks who are interested in investing in these small businesses and get part of the cash flow. And like everything there is real, right? Like we're not betting on like a speculative like future space exploration thing. It is like just investing in a small, well-run business, and as long as they continue to do well, they will continue delivering revenues.
Do you want to share on how, like, what the royalty tokens can become, or like what you can do with them once you have them?
Yeah. So right now, you can hold them or you can provide liquidity for them. And when the revenue distribution happens, you will get a share of it, no matter which one you choose. But there's like a few different vaults available on the Liquid Royalty website. I think they also do some tranching, like depends on how much price exposure you want to these royalty tokens. But I won't dive too deep into it there. It's on their website. I dropped the link into what we have in the private chat here, Eileen. Maybe you can figure out how we can show it to the folks who are viewing this on YouTube and other places. But yeah, it's something I'm really excited about. I don't know if I can share my screen very quickly because
Yes.
I think it is interesting to maybe show people what is actually on there. Let me give it a very quick try.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. So we're on liquidroyalty.com. And first of all, none of this is financial advice. This is, something fun to show you guys. So the company is called Sale. And yeah, so far they've accrued almost 100K worth of revenue just for the token holders. And then you can see that, revenue isn't the right word. It's the portion of sales that belongs to the royalty token holders. So we're just going to call those royalties. And the next distribution is happening in around 5 days. Yeah.
Wait.
And then,
so this is just the 10% that we talked about?
That's correct. Yeah. That's just 10%. So these people have actually made a lot more. Essentially like 10x more. And you can see, what is it? Yeah, you can see the money flowing in. Like every few minutes, somebody is buying some products, right? So here somebody bought one of those walkers. Here somebody bought one of those cooktops. Somebody even bought a wrench, right? You can see the sales numbers. So like all of this is really cool. This is like actual business and, dare I say, like product market fit. Like this company is like selling these products and there's essentially a constant demand from various people that need these things. I don't know. It doesn't, businesses don't get any better than this. You can even see like the different product lines they have.
This is wild. Holy shit.
You can buy, this is so wild. Like, I don't know how they're able to source these things, but like, I wouldn't have imagined like the same people to be selling like, here's like gas cooktops, here's like the induction type, but at the same time be selling like, I don't know, like vacuums, but also wrenches, but also like fake flowers. I don't know. It's wild, but like you can see the sales numbers on all of these, right? Like all of them are like what is it? Sorry, these are sales numbers. I don't want to say profitable, but in demand, right? Like to be able to make $250,000 in sales of any of these, like you're selling hundreds, if not thousands of units, like all the time. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to talk about this because like, after working in DeFi for a few years, a lot of it is like token games and a little PvP. Like, you ask yourself, like, is anyone in the real world better off as a result of what we're building? And sometimes the answer is no. Like a lot of people enrich themselves, yes, but most people get wrecked. But like here, like there's a business under the hood, right? Somebody is making money by selling something useful, and then somebody else has acquired something that they can use in their daily lives. And like, I think that's like remarkably refreshing. But at the same time, it feels like it's nothing new. Like Amazon has been facilitating this, or eBay has been facilitating this for years. We are just doing some financial engineering to allow the merchants to be able to essentially like sell some of their own equity to be able to raise some more cash to grow.
Yeah, I think that is kind of, well, if you asked me like 6 years ago, I would not think vacuum cleaner businesses would be the underlying asset, but like it is part of where all of our DeFi dreams maybe include, but we kind of, I don't know, maybe it was better or more fun to like move liquidity from like point A to point B, something like that. Oh, right. The original question. What did you learn this cycle on thesis and validation that was disproven, or have you proved something, or has the market proved something for you?
Good question. I don't know if I have any great learnings.
I mean, you post about this kind of stuff all day long.
Yeah, but now that you ask, I kind of forget. I mean, like, there is one, right? Like, everyone is super hyped about, let's say, stable coins, right? For the recent while, but I don't think anyone's been able to make. Well, I say anyone, but essentially me and the people around me. I don't know if anyone's been able to catch any great trades, right? Like, for example, like the Circle stock has done very well at launch, right? It bewildered a lot of people because people are just like it's gonna be overvalued, so it's like a not a buy for sure, but it just kept going up and kept going up and kept going up some more, and now it's falling all the way back down. But it's like, yeah, like when people talk about like, oh, stablecoins is gonna be a thing, it's gonna be so obvious, like it doesn't mean that betting on the growth and then betting on the price action of these things are going to be straightforward. And where I'm going with that is like, I feel like, yeah, a lot of times people talk about being bullish a concept or something, but they either mean like the growth of the project or the price action, but the two can be quite unlinked at times. So sorry, coming back to the original question. Yeah, the part that I'm still learning to do better is just figuring out like when people say these things, like which one they mean, and then like, as a individual who's participating in this industry, like when I see something like I'm bullish on the trend, but I still need a lot of work to figure out like how that actually translates to fundamentals. And yeah, maybe relevant to my work at Berachain itself. It's about like helping projects, right? There are a lot of projects building on Berachain that fit within these narratives, but structuring like the success of their tokenomics to match that is very hard.
Yeah, I think earlier this cycle, right? I think someone told me that community is kind of gonna be the gateway to distribution, but that was just sort of like, something that was being talked about. And then I guess what Jack has mentioned earlier, like with everybody, I don't know, like if you do it, it's good for some people. Some people are always going to be angry. But now I'm coming around to sort of the thesis that probably consumer is the distribution way more than the community. Yeah, something like that. Jani, you have a lot of experience with a lot of the things we're talking about over here. I don't know if you're still there or AFK though. Could you?
Sound check.
Hi. Same question to you. theses, validations that were disproved or proven over the cycle that was otherwise not? Well, I guess you've been in the game since 2011, so that's many cycles ago. Anything new here?
Let me pre-pen this with, I apologize in advance for what I'm about to say. And if I go too far down the rabbit hole, please pull me up.
Okay.
I'm going to try to connect some of what Jack has said, some comments that Carney's made, and I might get lost along the way. So if you see me walking in circles, just pull me out, please. So working backwards from an initial thing that Carney said about hype, around the functioning of the business itself is not impacted by the US dollar determination of the kind of value of the hype token. So my way of understanding that, however it does impact sentiment, is, and this is where I'm going to kind of connect it to an offhand comment that Jack made about cypherpunk stuff, is that my understanding of that observation of Carney's is that essentially what we're speaking about is the ability to create these hermetic systems that are endogenously focused. The prime example of which is Bitcoin, in the sense that it was a system that was released into the wild that was self-referential in terms of its token of value tracking. So you would get issued Bitcoins for burning electricity. It's the assumption that there is this exogenous external thing, but it's not necessarily accounted for within the system. So Bitcoin itself doesn't have a kind of native, let's say, US dollar exchange rate. And I think that's what we see kind of going on with hype, in the sense of it's created a kind of like self-contained system that is going to keep ticking along regardless of how the market values it. And this is where the cypherpunk values kind of come for me. And it's a bit more maybe the where my origins are, is in the pursuit of doing things for their own ends. So that kind of like endogenous value system versus, let's say, an external value system where you're kind of pegging things to the dollar, or kind of having this external scoreboard of the global leaderboard of how many US dollars do you have in your bank and are you winning or losing. And so I think for me, this cycle has been really this tension between the kind of diverse set of participants in the market. And I personally lean much more heavily in the marveling at the systems that keep working regardless of price. However, we're all swimming in these waters, so kind of sentiment is very largely driven by price. So Eileen, one of the things that you observed and you said you thought, and I know that this is something that Smokey said, is in the past, narratives-driven stuff, and then price has followed, but it's a few people's contention that actually it's price that moves, and then that's what informs narrative. And I don't know if I 100% agree with that. One of the learnings since launching THJ, I think THJ did kind of emerge from, and this will be due to kind of the biases of the fact that kind of I'm a multi-cycler and I've come from previous cycles, where I think, for example, Honeycomb, I think all of the different stuff that we rolled out was very kind of narrative driven in many senses on some level. That's like one way of interpreting it. So at the end of Jack's input, he mentioned kind of an analogy with Olympus, how kind of given that it launched in DeFi summer, there was this kind of, let's say, speculative bubble or irrational exuberance that allowed kind of an early set of the mechanics, the DeFi mechanics that were maybe not as fully fleshed out as kind of some of the subsequent systems, RBS, etc. And in that process, they were able to essentially create some stability for the protocol to kind of create something that was more longer lasting. And I think we've gone through that cycle somewhat with kind of Honeycomb, for example. It was up for a lot of pre-mainnet, and then we've kind of seen that crash. And definitely one of the learnings that I've kind of observed is, one, I do think that narrative had a big impact in the some people's valuation of Honeycomb, as an example. But at the same time, there's now, given the phase of where we are in markets, there's many more kind of sophisticated actors kind of at play. And so, as well as people who are maybe, let's say, working from those endogenous kind of, let's say, cypherpunk principles all the way through to the, let's say, extreme profit maximization approaches and everything in between. I think there's this kind of a game going on where, in the presence of these kind of heterogeneous kind of operators, you've got a lot of people kind of guessing what the second and third and fourth order approaches to stuff are. So you get these dynamics where you do have, let's say, long-term minded folks in the mix who are looking towards the horizon. And then you've got this whole middle chunk of folks who are maybe expecting that others are going to be on the profit maximization game. And so they adapt their kind of approach to things. And I think one of the learnings that I've had is that it's not enough to kind of speak to the more longer term minded folks and kind of presume that that will have a larger kind of impact on things. It's actually, I think, once you've got that snowball effect of people who with a shorter time horizon, that's what's going to have the most kind of impact on prevailing PA and this type of stuff. So I guess one of the learnings that I've had is, and it sounds obvious, is just around that. Now, I don't believe, though, and this is where I kind of disagree, that it's not possible to figure out means, mechanisms, and approaches of actually drilling into and identifying and connecting with and building maybe with and for the subset of crypto participants who are more kind of longer minded. So one of the operational or strategic mistakes I made, and that filtered down to kind of THJ and other stuff, is to think that through kind of a simpler version of data analysis that you would be able to identify that crew. But I don't think that that impulse is wrong. And I have a strong gut feeling that it is possible. So, for example, one of the things that I'm building out at the moment is within the context of Berachain. I think one of the ways of identifying this subset is, for example, people who have been claiming raw BGT and whose address have never redeemed the BGT. I think that would be an example of a dimension of on-chain activity of someone operating at least one wallet, where it's clear that on that wallet, they've not been operating it in a kind of short-term profit maximizing mode, because that's not been on that kind of dimension the most logically or kind of short-term profit oriented things. When I did some quick data analysis on that, in the aggregate, people whose or wallets which meet that criteria represent the third largest holder of BGT in the network. And they're kind of the largest that isn't an LSP. So going back to this kind of exogenous to endogenous side of things, I think the design space for kind of building buy-in for long-term minded folks where it's demonstrable on chain versus stuff like we tried to do pre-mainnet where it's kind of done by a mix of socials analysis, on-chain analysis, kind of, and this type of thing, through to actually using demonstrable actions on chain over time, stuff that kind of can't be civil, that can't be necessarily kind of faked after the fact. And so I think in that sense, what I'm kind of getting to is going back to this kind of IPO type of discussion. Whilst it is kind of an insider's game, to some degree, institutional capital and all of that type of thing. And I think we've seen this with, for example, many of the Chad VCs of Beartic, is that you're dealing with maybe folks who will hold, who have a much longer time horizon. And you kind of want more of your supply with those folks because it's not going to be hitting the markets depending on the kind of exogenous atmosphere, the external scoreboards, the price, etc. And it's something where activities are more longer form, kind of longer time horizon. The strong gut intuition I have is that it's not only some institutions or some Chad VCs who have that long-term horizon in mind. If we follow the wallets which have been stacking BGT and have never redeemed a single BGT, that would certainly seem to be the case with kind of a subset of Chads in Bearchain and Chadettes, whatever. Is that the only way of being in Chad and Bearchain? No, of course not. But it's one dimension that I think is demonstrable on chain. And so, yeah, one of the things we've been building out at the moment is just essentially it's an extension of the CollabLand bot that pulls from the June data and kind of will be a kind of a dynamic Discord that is open to any BGT holder whose wallet who's been stacking raw BGT but has never redeemed it. So that kind of that subset of people within the Bearchain ecosystem can kind of connect with each other and be in a space where you know that one dimension of activity. That's really quite difficult than kind of a lot of the approach that we took with Honeycomb, where it's much more porous, much more open borders, and this type of thing. So I'm going to stop there because there's a whole bunch of other stuff where once you start identifying kind of in a really granular way who, what, and why you're building for to what ends, I think it opens up some, to my mind, kind of interesting cypherpunk dimensions. But I'm going to pause there because I hope I've answered the question in some type of way that's at least partially coherent.
Yeah, we have. I know Beartic is tired and I'll have a lot of things going on to prepare for. So I just want to quickly talk to him, and then we can jump back into the cypherpunk and all the other stuff THA is building. Is that cool?
Shoot, yeah, he should have gone first. Beartic legend.
Beartic legend. Hey, so yeah, you know, share with us on what you want to share. I know you have hinted at some of the newer things, which, yeah, feel free.
Yeah, just some small stuff like at Kodiak we don't have any expertise in stovetops or wheelchairs, so can't get into that line of business. But yeah, we launched Perps, Kodiak Perps on Bearchain in October. Did pretty well. On Beartic now, like Kodiak has 90% market share on both the spot and perp side. In the coming weeks, like we're planning to planning on rolling out more like tooling and analytics for perps just to make user experience better. And then some of the bigger stuff that we've been exploring recently is prediction markets. So we're not necessarily just like creating our own prediction market, but we're talking to some of the heavy hitters, such as like Polymarket and Call Street, to see what we can do there. We do see that these prediction markets are doing pretty well. Like even today, there was like a Poly market just randomly launched specific for Kodiak, and that's super cool. And yeah, just I think for existing Bearchain users as well as like other users that are interested, we'll be rolling out some more details in the coming weeks. And our goal is like to just build killer products, not even have users realize what chain they're on. And then in the end, they'll realize that like Kodiak is powered by proof of liquidity and Bearchain. And while we are not like building like traditional businesses in the real world, we want to be the best business in DeFi.
When you're talking to other teams, right, from different sides of, well, I guess Kodiak has gone through some form of transformation from initial inception to actually the current suite of products.
Yep.
What do you feel like separates teams, or like how do you see, like some people are ambitious in one vertical and some people want to have it all? What type of teams usually end up sustaining longer?
For us, I think we just do due diligence. It's like, does this team just have an idea and they're just talking about the same idea for many months, or do they have something provable that they want us to help, or that they want us to test, or just like engage with us on? And there's a mix of both. And we're more than happy to like always help. Or actually, not me because I don't know anything, but Aristotle's has been helping a lot of teams on the technical side. And our goal is like to have a lot of these more I guess nascent teams that are well experienced outside of crypto but want to dive their toes into crypto, such as the liquid royalty guys. Help them like navigate proof of liquidity. Like we've literally had multiple sessions on just explaining them exactly how it works, and once they have a reward vault, how they should incentivize their reward vaults, etc. And just like in general, like how to attract users, and that's yeah. Like I think a lot of projects have come and gone, but there's still a strong set of builders on Bearchain that haven't left and won't leave. And I think the main thing is just surviving, because I think that ends up killing a lot of the competition. And then once you survive, then you can start building things without as much competition. And then once like I guess more risk, I guess once like there's more risk on chain, then products that have been continuing to build and are able to launch products at the right time will able to kind of capitalize on the influx of like capital coming in.
Was there like a specific reason for how you roll out your products? Like well, I guess if we're talking October, then that was definitely the perp dex sort of.
Yep.
Everybody else had perp dexes, like, but then now you're rolling to prediction market. So is this a you see like there's volume and then you want to chase after it kind of thing, or it's like, yeah, maybe we can actually discover something new with this and we're just going to try to experiment?
Yeah. To be honest, like a lot of the times, like we do see narratives early. It's just that it's kind of hard to juggle. It's like all of these, because the reality of this market is like you see a narrative before it starts, but so does like hundreds of other teams, and some teams will just launch something first. That's not necessarily a superior product, but capture the narrative because they're the first ones. So there's been times such as like when we were initially building Kodiak, like automated liquidity managers such as like Arrakis, Gamma, like Charm, these were they were pretty massive, and they were managing like billions of dollars of TVL on ETH mainnet and Arbitrum. But then over time, like by the time like we launched it, we also like the funny thing is like if you go on DeFi Llama and you filter by liquidity managers, Kodiak is actually the #2 liquidity manager in all of crypto, right after Camino, and then right after us is Arrakis, which is the project that kind of inspired our islands. So there's those types of things where we were early, and we did well, but I think the narrative has changed. It's like now it moves to like vault managers that have done well in curators, and for perps, it's similar. Like we were actually building a new primitive, but just building a net new primitive is takes a lot of time. It's very expensive, and yeah, when you're starting from zero, it's just like you don't want to roll out something that can be either financially or like in terms of smart contract be exploited. So it just takes time. So for certain things, like we just roll out things quickly that we feel confident in as an MVP, and then certain things we are we see a narrative, but we see a bigger picture because of like just the amount of investment and like actually like how long like Polymarket is used by and known by people like outside of crypto that don't even know how to use crypto. So we believe in like I think perps and prediction markets right now are like the two largest like use cases for crypto, and like the third being like just stablecoin, just payments and transfers.
Where do you think like the prediction market method goes? Like what I'm seeing is literally in everybody's products. It's just like new ways to bet on new shit. Is there just gonna be more and more things that we discover on what people want to bet on, or like if right now you're running a prediction market,
Yeah.
1 year from now on, like what type of specific topics is kind of different, because it's like opinions, right?
Yeah.
Or how do you see this 1 year from now?
Yeah, I think one area that like maybe like the crypto prediction markets are maybe just hasn't been as dominant compared to like regular like betting platforms like sports betting, and that's a huge market in itself. And I think it's just like building unique tools. Like I think people don't want to have like 20 tabs open to figure out like where they can have an edge or where things are mispriced. So having like a terminal of some sort, I think there are already teams building this that allows users like just one platform to get the information they need, and then be able to like quickly make a decision on which I guess bet to make. So that's one. There are teams that are exploring like making prediction market, making like making it more capital efficient to like bet into crypto or like trade prediction markets or provide liquidity for prediction markets. So that's another angle. But yeah, it's hard because like when you're talking one-on-one, let's say like me and Carney want to make a bet on like what is the next thing that sale.r will sell? Like, is it a stovetop or is it like a walker? But that's just like a bet between me and him. There's not enough like size, or there's not enough like participants for it to be like a standalone prediction market. But like we could just settle it ourselves. So just thinking through like what types of things that are may not be may not have enough demand from a prediction markets, or like for Kalshi or Poly market to like spend the time to like list those markets, but have enough like volume or frequency of those types of like niches. I think that might pick up. But yeah, like obviously we're still exploring, but we do believe it's a big opportunity.
So if you combine like trading and prediction market, in theory you can bet on other traders losing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
this
that's
is
another.
available or?
Yeah. Okay, so I think what we recently saw a few months ago, I think it was either KBW or it was in South Korea. There was a um, some company hosted an IRL trading event where they had like multiple traders just trade, or like they formed teams and they were competing against each other, like trading like different tokens on perps. And there was like a live audience, and you
Holy shit.
yeah, and like winner takes a prize. It was like similar to like esports, and I think there are teams that believe that like trading perps can become esports. I am a bit skeptical, just given that I don't know if people just clicking buttons versus like having. Actually, I take that back, because there are people that watch like Korean leverage traders get liquidated for fun. So like I think there is an opportunity, but like I think some projects are exploring like betting on specific traders for these types of live trading events.
That is really wild. Like, because I remember this summer I messaged Jani and I was just like, yeah, esports trading or something like that. And I was, to be honest with you, I was kind of just playing some form of esport at the time. So I had this idea, but I didn't think like it's already, people are already doing it. Okay. So to prevent from keeping you here longer, even though we love having you with us, do you want to run down quickly what people should know for tomorrow?
Yep. So 2 p.m. UTC is the official listing time. Tomorrow, or like December 23rd, 2 p.m. UTC. Will be listed on Gate as well as the Kodiak spot decks, and there may be perps. There may be a perps listing as well. And yeah, I think for people who haven't been paying attention, there was a small IDO raise. 3% of the supply, or IEO, 3% of the supply being offered on Gate at 35 cents, which there's 100 million total KDK available, or like total supply for KDK is 100 million. So the implied valuation was 35 mil. So and there was close to 150 million in I guess commitments on Gate for the launchpad, which is crazy, because that's like 3x the the implied FDV of the token, or no, actually like close to 5x. So yeah, was super thankful. And yeah, I guess people who are interested in trading on chain, you can trade Kodiak KDK token tomorrow on Bearchain on Kodiak, or for those who use centralized exchanges, it'll be available on Gate.
And what is XKDK?
Oh, yep. So the KDK token has like a dual model system. There's a KDK and XKDK. KDK is like the liquid, like tradable token that has that is a utility and governance token. But to maximize the actual governance and utility of the token, you can convert your KDK into XKDK at a 1-to-1 ratio, and that's immediately. And then once you have XKDK, you can actually stake your XKDK into the protocol rewards module that gives you a few of the following. One is protocol loyalty rewards. Two is there is a unique mechanism where people who convert, so KDK to XKDK, 1-to-1 instant, XKDK to KDK, there is like a redemption period. So on the shorter side, you can once you decide to, you can go through the process of converting your XKDK into KDK, and if you select 15 days, which is the minimum number of days you can select, you actually forfeit half of your KDK. So and if you choose all the way up to 6 months, or actually it's 180 days, you get your full amount of KDK back. And the amount that's forfeited goes into a rewards pool, and that rewards pool distributes XKDK, like the forfeited XKDK pro rata, back to the XKDK stakers. And third, there's going to be additional utility that'll be rolled out. So things such as like VIP fee tier, where for example for perps, we'll be offering like significant discounts for for trading significant fee discounts for trading on perps and future products like early access or actual fee discounts. And three, upon sufficient decentralization, there is this Kodiak reserve that's managed by the KDK Foundation. 60% of the protocol revenue is directed to systematically buying KDK in the open market and establishing this insurance fund. And then 30% of the revenue is actually used to provide protocol on liquidity across Kodiak's different products, so that one thing is like as a DEX, like you're always relying on your liquidity providers. If they decide to leave for another opportunity, then that makes a pretty that makes it a pretty bad experience for traders because there's higher slippage. So if the protocol is growing, or if the Kodiak reserve is growing its protocol and liquidity, the protocol itself is less reliant on external LPs, and for traders, they're more confident in being able to trade on the Kodiak DEX itself.
Great, thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Beartic? Jack, Carney, Jani?
No, nothing but best of luck, guys.
Yeah, best of luck.
Yeah,
Godspeed.
thanks so much, everyone. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and we'll chat soon.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get back into.
They have built one of my favorite tools of this last stretch of time. So during the bear market, the legends over at DeFi Llama created that kind of aggregator swap, which is just a quiet giant tool, but Kodiak kind of pushed the envelope even further with this multi-token swap aggregator, which is absolutely one of my favorite tools in Beartic, and I think kind of works really well within this kind of poll design for those kind of raw BGT enjoyers out there. And then also subsequently is kind of a tool that we use internally with some of the stuff that we're kind of building out, because it just makes operating just super smooth. So I've really been impressed by the shit Kodiak has been putting out. It's like super high quality under the hood.
Do you want to share some of the, like, just to switch it up a bit, away from DeFi, do you want to share some of the stuff that you've been working on, and maybe tell people what tools are available now? Because a lot of the stuff you're building is open source.
Oh, look, I think this is a bit connected to what I was, fucking who knows if that made any sense at all. But so for the majority of my career in crypto, it's been for the most part behind the scenes. The era of kind of the yapping era was actually pretty distinctly, for me, kind of different compared to historically the approach. So for me personally, I'm kind of returning back to my roots. If you don't know, kind of we had about 30 different THJ eco kind of Twitter assets taken down, and just kind of use that to pivot into just going back to writing a lot of code every day. So I think over the last month, it's been pretty busy. So the purpose of some of the tools, so I guess that's kind of that cypherpunk adage of cypherpunks write code. So I'll be yapping, but it will be in code form from now on. One of the tools that I've released is called Loa, which is kind of derived from a William Gibson book, which was a trilogy, which was casting forward it's pretty kind of mind-blowing how prescient it is in terms of kind of where we are now. But essentially, in this trilogy, kind of released in around 1986, Gibson was kind of thinking about AI through the lens of kind of Haitian voodoo spirits, and the kind of sociological kind of research that he was drawing from. So a lot of it was kind of based on the research done by this woman who kind of went to Haiti to kind of study voodoo and this type of thing, but actually ended up getting initiated into these processes. And the thing that kind of distinguished or differentiated kind of a lot of that approach to, say, more animistic worldviews was essentially kind of a lot of voodoo spirits. It's not this like high and mighty thing. It's more about kind of this pragmatic approach to getting shit done in the real world, but through this interface connected to the spirit realm. And the way that this was interpreted by Gibson as part of that series of sci-fi books. By the way, this is where the name Wintermute comes from. It's kind of the different AI entities kind of merge at a certain point to kind of move the past forward. One branch of it was Wintermute. And Loa is kind of the name of these kind of entities from that book. So that's kind of a tribute to kind of those origins. But basically, the idea is that these AI kind of entities would ride humans to achieve some ends within the network. And I think that's a little bit where we're at with, I was asking Jack up at the top of the show if he's played around with some certain tooling, is this kind of, I think we're at this like fourth nested layer of kind of AI. If at the top we have AI as search engines, so that's your chat GPT with the web UI, and you're kind of putting in questions similar to, you would use a Google engine, then the next layer down is people who are maybe, they have it embedded within some other web client. Maybe it's in kind of like a code IDE, maybe it's in a Figma design file. The third layer deep is actually where you kind of install the AI kind of tooling, whether it's local LLMs kind of offline enabled, or whether it's something like Codex or Claude CLI, and you give it access to the kind of context of your machine and all of the different software that you have installed. So this is kind of, at the top level, you have what was called like prompt engineering, and then as you go down the layers, it becomes about context engineering. So at the moment, this lower tool that I've been building, I'd say, is kind of like the layer deeper than this kind of context engineering, and it's using a pattern of coding or kind of template design that's very widely used by stuff like Google, AWS, as part of kind of Terraform, which is essentially creating kind of a hybrid between a template and a library, such that you can essentially help to guide a human. In the language of Gibson, you would say ride, like ride the human through this interface. So I've been open sourced this lower tool to help to build out and upgrade a lot of the stuff that we're working with within THJ. One of the prototypes being built with kind of this kind of AI orchestra is this Arrakis kind of collab land but infra to produce Arrakis, another Arrakis, not the same one that Beartic was mentioning. The name, of course, is connected to June. This pulls down the June data from a bearer chain of all wallets that have been stacking BGT and have never redeemed a single one. And so within this Discord, then it will create kind of essentially a meeting ground for people of like mind and action who've been stacking BGT, and it would be all powered by Loa under the hood. But it's kind of, you'd say, like dynamically pulling from on-chain, but I wouldn't say it's like tokenomically driven, though it does derive its kind of endogenous value system from BGT. It's not about price, it's not about anything, it's about kind of gathering people. And once that's set up, we'll then kind of set up an emissary zone between, for example, this kind of power block within the Bearchain ecosystem and, for example, the foundation. So there's an open line of comms between them. In theory, you could then set up a connection point between the BGT foundation / council and kind of this Arrakis zone. And for me, kind of these types of things are kind of the interesting cypherpunk kind of design space that so far hasn't super been explored, because I think we've been in this kind of like war zone of post Uniswap kind of sophisticated market actors, plus all of the people kind of copying what they think everyone else is going to do. But I do genuinely believe, like, underneath all of this, the cypherpunk spirit is alive and well, and that there's a kind of a Fremen kind of caucus kind of out there looking for new approaches to the kind of current war zone that we're in.
If there's like, okay, so I think there have
Eileen,
definitely.
hang on. Before you ask a confusing question again, did
Yes.
anything I said earlier land, or was it all just kind of weird Jani ramble?
I think I don't want to answer this question.
Carney, Jack, did
I
any of it?
Yeah, I agree with some of the points you made, both for and against some of the things I was saying, and that, I don't want to throw out, like, and maybe I wasn't clear in terms of how I said things earlier, is like, I don't want to throw out the cypherpunk ideals by any means, right? Like, those are a big reason for why I decided to leave traditional finance and join crypto, right? It wasn't just this thing of like, oh, this is a better financial rails. And even when I talk to a lot of the folks that are these ex-traditional finance folks who came into the space, they didn't come in, and this is actually literally a quote from a coffee I had with one of these folks last week. They didn't come into the space to just recreate the same rails more efficiently. Like, there is a real desire to do things differently. And within that, I think there's this kind of like blend of like, what are the real products that work today and have use cases, and what is kind of some of the fun financial experimentation and gamesmanship, and then how do you bring those two things to meet in the middle? And so for me, it's not about like throwing away cypherpunk ideals by any means, but it's more of like, how do you find that middle ground that allows you to push those things forward and recognize that, maybe not everything will be perfectly decentralized, and maybe not everything will be totally trustless, but how do we make sure enough of the core infrastructure is, especially from, I think, a DeFi POV, and then how do you build layers on top of that that are kind of more user facing and actually create meaningful quality of life product differences for folks that didn't have access to them in the past, right? And even when I look at DeFi today versus like 2019, right? The reality is that, like, you anywhere in the world today can get access to US dollars, can get access to US dollar treasury rates, can get access to private credit opportunities, can get access to speculation, can get access to prediction markets, to credit opportunities, to all these things that matter a lot to a lot of people. And for folks that want self-custody and have it important and think that it's important to them, right? Like, if you're in a really meaningful first world country, right? Like, the ability to have an FDIC insured bank account and have your assets kind of like guaranteed by a custodian or any of these other things might matter more, because your goal is not minimizing counterparty risk and trustlessness with a centralized system, but rather like minimizing risk while maximizing the opportunity set available to you. Versus, if you are in a position that, like, say a lot of my family was 60 years ago, where you are actually being forced to choose between staying where you are in a very bad situation and leaving with none of your funds available to you, then like you actually have the opportunity to take a lot of your capital and like have ownership over it, right? Like that's where I think a lot of these things play in. And so, you know, it's not a complete removal of those values, but rather like finding the places where they actually matter a lot. And then, like you said, just the proof is in the code, right? Like what matters is what you ship and what you write and the products that you build and how they actually impact people, versus just the kind of like theory crafting and the ideology in a vacuum.
Based.
Okay, can I ask my confusing question now? Hang on a second. Let me think about what my confusing question was. Jenny, are you still there?
Affirmative.
Okay, so in regards to like,
Hang on. We scheduled 90 minutes, right? We're 7 minutes over. So what's happening? Just because otherwise my brain's gonna start drifting.
okay, I just want to ask you about the rest of the thing that you're building. Is that okay?
Shoot, yeah. Carney and Jack, do you have time? Also, do
Yeah,
you know we
I got
had Gumi here doing?
I got like 2 more minutes.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards to some protocols and airdrops, right? What they do is they would airdrop to people who are on other chains, or you know, holders of ETH wallets dormant from 2016 or something like that, right? Is there, like, in your belief and the way that you think, there are ways to use data to figure out who has done what on chain? How far would you track it? So let's say, for example, if a recent protocol wants to do some form of airdrop and it's the distribution, like they don't have an existing on-chain thing, right? Like, how would they best do it according to, you know, your thoughts on the data stuff?
It's with any token, the absolute thermodynamic kind of reality that you just none of us can escape is who is the marginal buyer. Is there more demand than there is supply? And everything else is kind of downstream of that. So we're kind of underneath that. The question, I think, then is it possible to, and this is why kind of in IPOs and all of that different shit, so much of supply goes to insiders or kind of the BlackRocks of the world or whatever, is creating some version of either enforced or synthetic supply sink such that the float is reduced. The purpose of which of reducing kind of float, some folks do it through crime, some folks do it through kind of curating where distribution goes, is reducing the float so that you have a better shot on demand increasing, being more than what available supply is. And so it kind of, that's my view on these things. I do believe it is possible to be smarter about identifying who and where tokens go to. It's a firm belief of mine. But that essentially just operates as a, let's say, a synthetic sink. It doesn't attend to the demand side. And I think the demand side is more what I understand is coming more from Foundation, stuff that Jack said, Carney, Smokey as well, kind of on the timeline. It's this notion around kind of real businesses, revenue and stuff, is essentially that, a shorthand for that is demand. And so I do think there's work that you can do on the supply adjustment side that isn't just pure crime. I do believe that you can get supply into the hands of long-term minded folks, but that in and of itself doesn't necessarily lead to one-to-one on the demand side. I've heard that there's some kind of theory crafting there that if there is some way that there's more assurance in the market that actually there is genuinely lower float, then maybe kind of that would be a narrative thing, and then you'd get the swarm. Who knows? That's theory crafts. But yeah, to answer your question, I do believe that it's entirely possible, entirely reasonable, and I don't think we're far away from it. I think we know how to do it better than we did pre-TGE, but it doesn't attend to necessarily the demand question. Does that answer your question, Eileen?
Yeah.
And Carney, Jack, I just want to say thank you for your service. It's good to be on a call with you both. I would like to know, before you go, if you'll please just humor me. Is there any food or something that you ingest or imbibe over this upcoming period that you're looking forward to? I'm looking for tips.
Yeah, this is niche and probably not helpful for you, but the thing that I always look forward to is there's a Chinese restaurant by my house that is phenomenal and makes my favorite mapo tofu. And so I'm gonna go.
Do you know which region of China? Because there's so, like, is it very specific to where you're based, or is it from a region in?
Oh well, mapo tofu is Sichuan, and like it's pretty easy to get. I think like this specific one, I don't know what they do with it. It's very different than like most other mapo tofus I've had, which are still great, but something about this one is like extra special. And then later this month, it's mine and my girlfriend's anniversary, and so we're gonna go out to one of our favorite New York restaurants, and they do a dry aged roast duck, which is something I'm sure you can get anywhere in the world, and is a great kind of like winter holiday type dish.
I love it. Do you have any, connected to that kind of regional thing, do you have any over in New York, any kind of more kind of, let's say, West China kind of Vega type places that do those kind of like lamb mutton skewers? We've got cumin, this type of thing.
I mean, okay. The one thing I can confidently say in New York is that you can get whatever kind of niche regional cuisine from anywhere in the world that you want. It's one of my favorite things about the city.
Well, enjoy it, and well done for being in this like extremely tiny percentage of DeFi that's got a real waifu and going out and touching grass and stuff.
I have so much I want to say right now, but I won't.
Kani, you're on the other side of the spectrum with many fake waifus. Do you eat food?
Yes, I do eat real food and drink real things. I will say maybe again, also not very interesting. Maybe I try not to have too much sugar and caffeine most of the days, but I got a what is it? A mix of hot cocoa and coffee from I think a Spanish cafe, and it was really, really good. I don't know if all Spanish cafes make this, but it's something that really reminds me of the holidays, probably because of the hot cocoa flavor. And yeah, I mean, the caffeine hits really hard if you haven't had it in a while.
Based. Love it.
And you, sir?
The Spanish have, I think it's from the Basque region, I can't remember from what period, but to make the coffee go further, they would mix it with like kind of almost burnt sugar and stuff. So it's very distinctive. Food-wise, I feel like eating fish.
We love fish. I haven't had the burnt sugar coffee, but in Florida,
it tastes like crap. But it's So if you go to any cafe in, I don't know, that region of Spain, you order it and you're like, this is really bad, but it's kind of embedded in that place and time, so you've got a lot of good memories around it. Everyone around you is just drinking this really shit coffee. The distinctive flavor profile is that I think the burnt sugar almost tastes caramelly, but it's also got burnt undertones. It's fucked up, but it gives you this embodied memory of being in a sunny place with happy people having a good time. Probably, I don't know.
That for me is Cuban coffee. They put like a metric ton of sugar and then basically pull a shot of espresso on top of it, and it's like mouth numbingly sweet. But for me was like it just reminds me of home.
Fucking look, maybe we can kind of leave it here, Eileen. I don't know, but it a bit reminds me of a lot of my experiences in Berachain. Like, there's just been so much fucked up shit that's been burnt and cooked as hell. But there's also been so many chapters and undertones and whatever where it reminds me of home. You know what? I don't know how to put it into words. It's like, yeah, I think Carney mentioned it of there's been a lot of pain, but there's also been a lot of highlights.
I mean, home is about the people, right? It's not really anything else more than that. So, you know, I'm kind of stuck here because I have the three of you here. I really have no choice now.
Thank you all for your service. Gummy, do you exist?
I hope so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've been really zoned out. Sorry, was there a question?
No.
Something about food.
No.
Eileen, should we do music as an outro, or what was your actual plan?
My actual plan was to do this for like an hour and a half and like just see who is not traveling and who doesn't have last minute things to do. And just, I was actually expecting to be here with Gumi all alone. And I was just gonna play like the entirely new Henlo album all together on loop for a couple hours. But yeah, well, honestly, we can, you know, if you guys want to still shoot the shit or like do anything, I think Jack has
I
to
would,
go.
yeah, I would go on mute, but I'd listen to the album.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming to the show. It's been quite a difficult year for everyone. I think that what we need to do is just to, you know, work on the alignment thing. I think for me, I have been very grateful that all of our stars have aligned this year. Last year, when I started talking to Carney about some stuff, I did not think that I would end up in Bearchain in this way. I actually didn't even know what Bearchain was at the time. So yeah, just, you know, very grateful for everyone, for the intros that you have made to make my life easier. And hopefully we have a really great year next year. Last words? Tap, 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 tap. Carney, anything?
Thank you for hosting, Eileen, and thanks for chatting with us, Jani and Carney, and thanks for art and miscellaneous gummy things, Gummy.
Okay. Karn?
Yeah, just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays. Stay safe, stay away from leverage, and we will see you in the New Year's.
Jani, last words?
No.
Okay. Well, miladies on Bearchain, as usual.
Bye, Barry. Bye.
Fondant, I'm the Don of the fly con, the lyrical montage that made me an icon. I'm motivated. The North can never be overrated, I overstated. My cadence control the pavement in this world like crescendo. I'm greeted with hand low. It's nimble, it's needed, rolling deep with my kinfolk. Proceed with balanced curiosity, the sheer ferocity ensures it's mine with no apostrophe. You're damn right. I strike heavy, but tread light. The North is no other rapper than me and mankind. I ran fine, like when you see me with my beverage hand. I'm a fighter pilot, so fly that we should probably have a parade about it. It's the D-O-M-P-A-N-D-A-N. I'm him. 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 The confusion is non-existent. I'm on a mission beyond the physics, the longest distance without an ending. But I'm depicted as the dawn that'll kick your ass. I hit the bong as I'm drifting past. I get the cash in different bags, different grass. And when I hit it, I mix and match. My excessive pass is the checkerboard, but I play it like it's chess. I give them more than they reckon for. Let's double it. The fuck constructiveness and injustices of the industrialists. I'm on the cusp of something that's fucking big. And it's the freshest dawn on the back of the megalodon. From underground, I'm on the upper echelon. It's the D-O-M-P-A-N-D-A-N. I'm him. It's the D-O-M-P-A-N-D-A-N. I'm him. It's the D-O-M-P-A-N-D-A-N. I'm him. It's the D-O-M-P-A-N-D-A-N. I'm him.
Batty. I'm in the city, rep the side that you sit in. Gotta pay the price to get in. Got a lot of nerve, but the swerve so strong, head spinning. Still I'm winning, keywords popping at it. Algorithm getting triggered, I'm just popping at it. How you feeling? I can go a little softer at it. Can't run from the school and I'm a college magnet. Too cold to shake. North Henny said the shit say this is the way. Then again, there ain't no way. You're from another time and space. Get off a plane. Leave the other dirty. It's a good time. And my kicks right. Got my net up and my cup dumping. Got $1 million in the vest. Get your funds right. Look at me and start a fight. You know that I'm looking right. Yeah, off up in this thing. Southside gotta make them sing. All up in the game. If you do not know my name, chances are you up a lame. What a bloody shame. This the way to get a bag. Make something that they can have. Always do the math. If it isn't giving cash, flow it back into the trash. Beer. I don't like you. Why you looking at me like that, huh? I don't like you too. Man, you could get the paws in the bad like. You could get this call with these bear claws. Don't you dare pause. You was bold, now you scared, huh? I am there now. I've been hoping to get wild. Give me the satisfaction. Satisfaction. Satisfaction.
Okay, I swear it's loading, but it's like just playing the loading button. I'll try again.
Chiefing on the lily pads, dreaming in the haze. Turn a life full of struggle in the golden days. Loyalty's the weapon, so I sharpen up the blade. Keep myself a plate to fight to never be betrayed. R-I-double-B-I-T. I like it boy to introduce himself so y'all can see. My name is Slim Pepe. My name is Slim Pepe.
I'm good. You're happy if you wanna drop that top. I'll be just happy if you're gonna supposed to be a friend. And I swear he's just a friend. I'm good, but I'm a bad one. You can try me, you'll be the mad one. Yeah, supposed to be a friend. And I swear you was my friend. He was nothing but a work Yeah, we gonna switch it up just a little bit. Hit y'all with that southpaw. This for the homies right here. Yeah. Now I've been knowing you since we been little, and I've been down even when I know you fickle. And I ain't about the bullshit, now listen. And that's the reason why I'm looking at you different. Come on, man, get it right, get it wrong, and we can fight. The Henny's out, shots fired, I pack a duo, that Iron Mike. You was cool, but now you boo hole. We had a truce, now you throwing me through a loophole. I ain't gotta listen, I've been watching you. Bite to the net that you been talking through. I'm cool with you once, I'ma sit it out. Get the nerve again, I'ma stretch you out. If you wanna drop that top, it's happy if you gonna supposed to be a friend. And I swear he just a friend. I'm good, but I'm a bad one. Try me, you'll be the mad one. Yeah, supposed to be a friend. And I swear you was my friend. I'm good. Happy if you wanna drop that top, it's happy if you gonna supposed to be a friend. And I swear he just a friend. I'm good, but I'm a bad one. Try me, you'll be the mad one. And I swear you was my friend. I'm good. Happy if you wanna top that top. Happy if you gonna supposed to be a friend. And I swear he just a friend. I'm good, but I'm a bad one. You can try me, you'll be the mad one. Yeah, supposed to be a friend. And I swear you was my friend. I'm good.
You know, life happens. And even myself, the Don P, has gone through some things. But in those times, I lean into my optimism. And with the sincerest regards, I know you'll get through it as well. Don P. I just met someone down on their luck, but gravity suspended and now they are up. The universe awaits and the options will come. My mind shall revive from which that it succumbs. And with that, I'm forever optimistic. What would the world be if thoughts never existed? The Dawn P is a philosopher, a mystic. With that being said, I am so realistic. The north is on top. If that had shifted, I would remain on my pivot. In the depths of the web, I write codes like a wizard. My life for my gifts and my business. Perspective is the pearl of the mind's eye. The here and now is the best for this prime time. The wayfinder and the North Star with no limelight is Don P. The hot spot, no Wi-Fi. If it was meant for me, it shall be. Life happens sometimes. It shall be. Things happen sometimes. And if it is what it seems, it shall be. Life happens sometimes. It shall be. These things happen sometimes. Always remember to smile. My frown is a JPEG, I render the file. If you're feeling alone, consider a crowd. Even when friends are around, they seem oblivious how. But I don't ever impose and consider it's out. Well, asking for help be considered as clout. But these are things I shouldn't be thinking about, like a dead-end job or a previous spouse. So I guess one for the north, and I solemnly swear to be the light in the sky as I'm already there. The Don Pondon is a problem, beware. And as the saga continues, the world prepare to be uplifted with insightfulness. Darkness that I fight against, the power of manifesting will always be the right defense. Secure as heightened cyber strength, 105%, to make you feel like you're living your life again. If it was meant to be, it shall be. Life happens sometimes. It shall be. Things happen sometimes. And if it was meant for me, it shall be. Life happens sometimes. It shall be. These things happen sometimes. If it was meant for me, it shall be. Life happens sometimes. It shall be. These
Hey, I've been pondering all day. Would you like to come and hang? I can be your sugar thing. Yeah. Ooh, I hear you really like me too. Just tell me what you wanna do. You could be my sugar thing. Yeah. Stop, man, it's my duty to be unruly in the land of the truth. You truly misconstrue me, so now I'm doing what I've been wanting to do. I've been there, I'm not there, I'm in there. What y'all thought this ain't a Care Bear? Little do they know the lengths that I would go. Come on and do to me. Honey bees on the money trees. Walk that walking, talk that talking. Ain't a game, but it's fun to me. These other baddies ain't no kidding me. I hit up the pub and showing the love. I'm grabbing the mic like a club. I'm cute as a club. And when I open up, they realize the threat. Best secret kept. Money, power, respect. Like, hey, I've been pondering all day. Would you like to come and hang? I can be your sugar thing. Yeah. Ooh, I hear you really like me too. Just tell me what you wanna do. You could be my sugar thing. Yeah. Yeah, bitch, I wear nice clothes. Fur got drip like whoa. If you wanna step, I put on a show. You in all these hoes, come correct. What did you expect? Bitch, I'll snap your neck. Don't get stressed. You came here to flex. I'm here to collect. If you're not walking, there's something wrong. Walk that walk and talk that talking. Walk, 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 walk. Walk that walk and talk that talking. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Walk that walk and talk that talking. Dance, 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 dance. Walk that walk and talk that talking. Get it. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. Oh yeah. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. One more time. Let the games begin. 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 Oh yeah. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. One more time. Let the games begin. 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 Oh yeah. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. One more time. Let the games begin. Let the games begin.
Yeah. Slim Peppy. Drip. Yeah. S to the L to the I to the M. Make it M to the I to the L to the S. P to the E to the P to the E.
Slim Peppy is the number one.
Original G. S to the L to the I to the M. Make it M to the I to the L to the S. P to the E to the P to the E.
Slim Peppy is the number one.
Original G. Yo, hard knock, real dog, ad hoc from the block. Beast, battle, space battle. Interstellar time, you feel the big brain. Bring the pain, insane. Taking names, cloud. Take a baby, barrel, ooga booga, do it to you. Yeah, it ain't easy, make you green on the sea. Sack it up, CB, feel it real mean. It's breezy being the color of the pills that I stack to the kills when I go for the kills. I'ma give it to you real. Best belief is true when I spell it out for you. Yo, S to the L to the I to the M. Make it M to the I to the L to the S. P to the E to the P to the E.
Slim Peppy is the number one.
Original G. S to the L to
energy.
Front and center with a compass, every bit of bonkers. Slim Pepe from the west, going colossal. I'm digging no fossil, preventing new tobacco. Spit it till it sparkle with a harpoon in my heart.
Oh, just a bear anatomically. Big H baby bears own them anomaly. The cryptic crypto kid kick shit, no side the cleats over east beat, no stopping me.
A message to all northerners, the horticulture of Don Pond, Don the glorious. I'm sending warnings and destroying your consortium. The freshest in the form, I'm flexing this, I'm orderly.
Betty be the femme fatale. I'm everywhere at once, but I'm in the south. My beverage chain heavy and my pendant loud. The future forecast says I'm in the clouds.
Hi, my name is Slim Pepe, so let us get acquainted. Stacking a meal, cause rapping is my language. I'm omnipotent, everlasting and ageless.
No lane, I play the median. Succeed in any avenue, hype expedient. See me with a diva and she's sweeter than stevia. Never been fictitious, it seems tedious.
I never missed the assignment. The dawn is essentially a diamond, visibly a giant. With artillery I provided, I'm victorious winning if we collided.
Betty be in the discotheque. I vogue and spin with a different method. Let's get wicked, let's get naked. Tripping up and they get introspective.
Could Big H be the one rocking the mic?
Not if Slim Pepe shows up tonight. Don Pondon, you know he too nice.
Betty B, you know I'm rocking it right.
The Ooga Booga formula.
It's so hot, but Pep is only warming up. Yeah, it hurt. You know the North got more of them.
BB, open rabbit holes in your cornea.
North,
South,
East,
west. North,
south,
east,
west. North,
south,
east,
west. North,
south.
east.
west. The monetary megamind Pep is the reason the West is forever fly. It took a while to get here, but I never lied. 10 bitcoins later, now I'm televised.
Come here, I'm in my own stratosphere. So cavalier, the average ear said when they hear these hot dragon tears. Both ears rocking two big chandeliers.
The Don in these busy streets, I've reached peak financial literacy. There's no more playing in the little league. It's time for the North to take a quantum leap.
Since Betty B is about to anchor it, I'm aiming at your neck like a trachea. Blockchain, Coinbase, paperless. I'm the soul of the South. Is it making sense?
It's Beartic.
In my old life, still bad. If you know, then you know, right? Let me do my dance, dark clouds. Hey ya, breathe out. I'ma be the one you be thinking about, giving you a hit when you miss, knocking out the crowd. I park it in the cloud just to bring it down before you realize I'm soaring with the lightning now. They biting now, they hauling ass, but I'm mauling back. A little snack, wipe them off my napkin. My Henlo Palm from the south was happening. My Henlo Palm from the south was happening. Yeah, my Henlo Palm from the south was happening. My Henlo Palm from the south, my Henlo Palm from the south.
起きて。起きて。起きて。起きて。